Yo, what up, D-Bot?
Yo, what's going on, brother?
Everything's going on, man. We're in the midst of seeing some history here with our Dodgers. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it is,
how
man.
good they're playing.
Yeah. Though I did hear some haters, talk about how, that's what happens when you face the Rockies and the Diamondbacks and all this stuff, trying to make it seem like the division's weak,
Or Slam Diego, as stacked as they are now, and the Giants, the anomaly that won the division last year. Of course, you're just going to beat up on your division, right?
Yeah.
The Dodgers haven't been doing that to the Central and Eastern divisions as well.
Of course.
It's ridiculous. I love it. The narrative is that they bought this team, right? This is what happens when you buy a team.
Yeah.
And not make great trades like Joey Gallo, who was the strikeout king in New York, getting booed by his own fans, and all of a sudden just raking it over here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just that's a smart front office, man. And Andrew Friedman was being interviewed on AM 570 and pretty much said that this is like the goal. He wants to look back on this 10 or 15 years from now and say this is the golden age of the Dodgers. And it's like, that's so nuts to think about, right? We have to step back and appreciate this now. It's hard to, as we're in the midst of watching them lose to the Rockies, or when they got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, damn, how does this happen? This is a great team. Why are they not playing well? Especially that sweep by the Pittsburgh Pirates was at home back in May, and it was right after that. Dave Roberts had a clubhouse meeting and called out some of the players, right?
Yeah.
So, since then they really turned it around, right?
They have.
Back in May, we were like, okay, this team is being built as potentially one of the greatest teams of all time. That was even the narrative in spring training, right?
Yeah.
They're going to come back better, come back stronger.
Yeah.
Then May happens, that thing, and then they get with the whole sweep at home, and then Bueller goes down. You know, it's for the year, and it's like, man, maybe this isn't good. Maybe that was a curse to them. Right?
And then
what's happened since
Gonsolin stepping up, you know what I mean? It's like, the guy was unbeatable from that before the All-Star break. It just felt really good to see him start. It felt like he was becoming that pitcher that I felt he was going to be at some point, because I know that a couple seasons ago he was just coming in, did 4 innings. You could tell they limited him, but it's kind of funny how he kind of really took over and dominated while Bueller and May were out, and then we have Kershaw, which not sure how much weight that still has, but I know that it's something it's I don't know, but yeah. And also, let's not even forget, we got Freddie Freeman. All the big signings obviously do elevate the team, and people always had us as the favorite coming into it. So, yeah, man, to your point, dude, it's crazy seeing how they've been having this run that has been historical. It's almost, at times I feel like it's under discussed, but but at the same time, I think it's under discussed because, like you mentioned, what is it? They clinched this season, which, if you take away last season, would have been 9, out of 10. It would have been dope to have the 10 straight.
Right.
But you know what I mean?
Freaking Giants.
Yeah, exactly. The Giants had a really good regular season run. And I think
until they got to the NLDS, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it just, it kind of shows you that, I think at this point people are like, yeah, the Dodgers are just killing it every season in the NL West. And I don't know, maybe it's already expected. I mean, but that's probably why it's not being seen as huge as it is, which is why I understand why Friedman has to say what he has to say.
Right.
Because I think, it does need to be discussed more, So I just my whole thing with how I'm reading the room with the media is I feel like they're going crazy with Aaron Judge's, home run. And rightfully so, rightfully so, but it's almost I feel like it's also because it's a Yankees thing. And then they can't stop talking about the Astros, which is always a surprise of how great they still are, even with that scandal in their record. It just feels like they just can't stop being good. And
they've obviously found a new way to cheat. We just don't know it yet.
So it's just, I feel like as a Dodgers fan, it's been annoying to see how it's always just oh yeah, the Dodgers, they're great. They're a great team and they got it, but we don't have to actually kind of pour it on them, But let's talk about Judge. Let's talk about the Yankees. Let's talk about the Astros because they had a scandal and look how good they look. Like they might be the one that takes it. Was it? I think everyone's kind of saying that it's going to be Astros Yankees for the AL, and I think uh, it feels like everybody wants to see the Astros kind of upset the Yankees because the Yankees are the bigger club. But then I could see Yankees fans really wanting to take it to the Astros because of that scandal and because they were in. Not that they were involved, but they were the team that got eliminated during that run too, so they kinda have that against them. And even though all the players are gone, or a majority of the players are gone from that roster in the Astros, it's just kind of weird to see that they're still good. It's like I can't, I don't know how long it'll take for me to get over, you know, that World Series. So yeah.
You're a better man than me, Donald, because I will never get over the 2017 World Series, man. I don't care. Like I'll boo. I love the Dodger fans still boo whoever comes up to the plate, whether it's somebody who's not even with the Astros anymore. I love during the All-Star game, the Futures game. There's
Yeah.
Astros players like in the minor leagues, right?
Yeah.
And they're from the Astros organization and they're getting booed. Like
Yee.
these players were kids. Were probably, these were like high school kids or junior high school kids with the 2017 World Series happening. They're getting booed, but by proxy, they're going to get booed because they're part of the organization. So I love that. But so we have to like try to put into context a little bit of how great the Dodgers historic run is going to be. Like they're definitely going to set the Dodger franchise record for most wins in a regular season, right? Last 2019 and 2011, 106 wins. They're already at 105 wins now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still 2 weeks to go in the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's nuts to see that that's going to happen. Like I remember when the Dodgers, they're at 103 wins. So they're going to definitely break that record with 2 weeks, like a week and a half to go. And it's just, I remember when they struggled like to make the wild card back in like the mid 90s and the early 2000s, to struggle to get to 90 wins. Like I remember how much that was a struggle was, right?
Yeah.
And now this team is just rolling off triple digit wins. That's amazing. So this 2022 Dodgers is amazing for that. And then they're almost there. It's still not possible, I guess, mathematically for them to get to 116 wins.
Yeah.
Which is like the record held by the 1906 Cubs and the 2001 Mariners. So that would be a feat in itself. To get to a winning percentage of over 700 would be incredible. They're at 691 right now. These are just like, I mean, put those numbers into context. That means you won 70% of the games you played. 70% winning percentage.
Mm-hmm.
That's in a sport of failures that is baseball.
Yeah.
You've won. You've been successful in winning 70% of the games you played. Think about that, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That is an amazing run. You know what I mean? I think this is huge. And I mean, I love seeing it. At times I do get a little weirded out that it's happening because I don't know. I guess it goes back to I thought this would be happening during Kershaw's, prime and all that. But it's crazy to see how it's like he's past his prime, but yet the team is flourishing at a different level. And yeah, I think I wanted to say I read, I don't know if it was The Athletic or if it was ESPN. I know it was, I think it was a social media post. I think from it might have been a 710 AM radio, the Dodgers radio station, talking about like this is like the Kershaw era, even though he's past his prime, but it's like this run, it's kind of like what we would equivalent to the Kobe era for the Lakers, or the Showtime Lakers era, where it's like, what do you name this era, right? And I think what Andrew Friedman was trying to say is like, yeah, this should be called something, right? If not the golden era, would this be called the Kershaw era? Like, what would what would we name it? So, yeah,
the Magic era. It is Showtime again. Ever since the new ownership group came aboard, ever since McCourt was X'd out, it's Showtime on the baseball diamond, right?
Yeah,
like, it's amazing to see what they've. It all and that shows you it trickles down from the top all the way down.
Yeah,
like you have to have a good ownership group that's willing to spend money, willing to invest in the right people in the front office, put the right general managers in, put the right manager in the dugout, put the right players on, and then scouting.
Yeah.
Scouting is everything.
That is true.
Knowing who to draft, knowing who to trade for. This is what is the most important thing to a baseball organization. Sports in general, right? Like not just baseball. Of course, there's way more analytics that are involved in baseball than there is in any other sport.
Yeah.
Even though every sport has their analytics and statistics, but baseball more so. I mean, it's more so available to you. There's more math equations involved, right?
Yeah. No, and I think for the most part, the data in baseball really does reflect the outcome in the performance of a player.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of what it is. It's for as much as people get bothered with sabermetrics and stuff, and I feel like it has its place. I
Mm-hmm.
know Roberts is really can be meticulous about that stuff, but I think
Yeah.
like yeah, like it's because baseball is really heavily on that stuff. Like it relies on it so much, and it proves to be true that if a batter hits a certain amount, they get a certain percentage, and it turns out to be a thing. Like how many times they get on base, all that stuff. Like it's just the way it is. It's science has taken over, and it's helped. It's helped a lot of teams. It's helped a lot of clubs. But yeah, like I think the Dodgers farm system has been tremendous. And yeah, I always look forward to anybody that gets called up because I just feel like if they get called up, it's for good reason. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they always meet the expectation for the most part. And even if they don't meet the expectation, for some reason the Dodgers figure out a way to like kind of put them in a package for a better player during
Yep.
trade deadline. And they definitely give them. I mean, there's like enough tape on these guys for them to sell it to somebody else because what ends up happening is these trades end up coming through. So yeah, man.
So all this to say, if you're a Dodgers fan, you should be just watching every game. Like,
Yeah.
even though we know the Dodgers have clinched the division, I mean, at this point, they're playing the schedule out, right?
Yeah,
We
that's what
get
it feels
that.
like. Yeah. Yeah.
And we understand that, but do yourself a favor, and if you have the time, if you're able, you realize, oh, the game's on, your channel surfing, you realize, oh, the Dodger game's on, tune in. Make an effort to watch these games too, because we may never see this again,
No.
definitely in our lifetime. And so you definitely have to take advantage of it now. This 25-man roster with the expanded roster the way it is now, they're just gelling,
Yeah.
gelling together,
Yeah.
finding ways to win. Even was the opening day, the doubleheader on Tuesday against the uh, Diamondbacks. They were they found a way to come back and win those games. Like, they're coming back and winning games. They really don't need to come back and
Yeah,
win,
exactly.
but it's because they play out their at bats. They play
Mhm.
out their games. Every inning, like every pitch, like they're just working. They're just working,
Yeah.
and they're workhorses right now. So
Yeah.
it's incredible to see. The playoffs are about to get started at the end of second week of October, and with the expanded playoffs now, the Dodgers are going to get a first round bye, right?
Mhm.
So they're
Yeah.
going to start in the divisional series. Won't have to play any wild card games. And the good news with the expanded playoffs is for Sonny, our great co-host Sonny Namano, who's Seattle Mariners may. I don't want to jinx him because I know how superstitious he is about sports, and so am I. So they may have a chance to finally see postseason baseball.
Yeah.
So
That'd be fun.
Sonny, we're rooting for you. We're rooting for your
Rooting
team.
for your team.
Hopefully, hopefully you can get in there, but look out for those Cleveland Guardians. That's so crazy. The Cleveland Guardians are actually playing well this year too. So Dodgers, man, you gotta check them out. Pivoting over from the baseball field to the gridiron, we got another championship team in LA.
Yep.
The Los Angeles Rams of Inglewood are your Super Bowl reigning, defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Undisputed Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Remember that. Remember that. All your Bang Bang Niner gang, all your 49er fans who, we took over SoFi, oh, Levi Stadium South. Fantastic. Great. The Rams seem to play a road game, even in SoFi. The LA Rams fan base, we know the tickets are expensive, first of all. We get it. Not making excuses, but we get it. Those tickets are expensive for SoFi Stadium for Rams games. We get it. But come on, Rams fans, when you show up, just be loud. Just yell when they're out, when the Rams defense is out there. Just scream and yell as loud as you can. Shut up when the Rams offense is out there. Just try to boo and drown out the opposing fans. It's a sad state to see, especially that Buffalo Bills opening night was rough because it was like a Bills home game. Even the Atlanta Falcons game in week 2 was a lot of Atlanta Falcons fans. So, and from those 2 games, the Rams lost opening night terribly. Like, it was like the Rams didn't even show up. The Bills didn't even play their best game, but still just embarrassed the Rams because the Rams didn't show up. And Atlanta Falcons game week 2, they Rams got out to a big lead in the first half. looked like they were going to run away with it, and then they let them off the hook, and they almost let the Falcons back in the game,
Yeah,
man.
that's right. That's right. I remember watching that.
Oh my god!
That
Thanks to Jalen Ramsey, we
I
held on.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering what was going on with the offense because Cooper Kupp is very reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think my only question mark with the Rams is the running back situation. I thought Cam Akers was the starter, but it feels like they've been rotating, and Henderson's been getting some carries that
Mm-hmm.
led to touchdowns. So it's been interesting.
Well, Henderson's more of a grinder through. He'll break tackles. He'll make contact and break through them. Cam Akers is more like more of a finesse runner,
Yeah,
looking for the open slots and running through them fast.
yeah,
So I guess you would say Henderson more of a fullback role,
yeah.
Akers more of the
Exactly.
running back role.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I think but they still don't run the ball enough for my taste. And I mean, I guess it's by design. They want to open it up Stafford a little bit more, but
Hmm.
it's they got to figure something out for week 3, because week 1 and 2 this hasn't looked like the defending champion Rams, and
No.
a lot of it has to do with the defense. Like, they're obviously missing Von Miller.
Hmm.
I mean, the defense isn't as dominant as it once was. Obviously, you miss a key point right there on your defensive line. Cornerbacks, I mean, Jalen Ramsey's had a rough 2 weeks until
Yeah.
that interception. He's been getting run over, and I get he was really pumped after he got that interception to end the game, ice the game for the Rams, to get that win. And he's like, "Oh, count me out, doubt me." It's like, all right, well, do this in week 3 now. Do this in week 4. Be consistent with it, man. I mean, we're all rooting for you, man. We're Rams fans. We're trying to see you, be productive, but man, you gotta buckle down that defense, man. That's what we
Yeah.
need you here for.
Yeah, and the thing with the Rams is they've been getting some primetime slots. Obviously, the first game against the Bills was the opening of the whole season. And then
And I got an issue with that. I got an issue with Goodell with that. Why are you gonna have your defending champions play such a tough game? Give us, give them the Titans. Give them a gimme game. Give them one of the gimme games during the week, man.
Yeah, man. And
That's a tough matchup.
and the crazy part is like the Bills. I was seeing right here on 530 that they're like the favorites to win the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and I think people were already predicting this prior to the season starting that the Bills were gonna be this good. So I mean, credit to the Bills. Obviously, Bills Mafia. It seems like it's getting more and more real. It's no longer like I mean, they're getting to a point where the bandwagon is starting to be created for them. But yeah, man. I mean, they got their defense. Allen's good. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. But yeah, I think the NFL did a disservice to the Rams by setting you guys up with them.
Seriously, they set us up for failure. It was all on them. So they had the Bills right as number 1, to as a favorite for the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously, you see the Chiefs there, you see the Rams there. But what I was really surprised to see really high up on the list, not on this site, NBC Sports, but I believe it was either, I want to say it was Bleacher Report. I want to say it was them. May not have been, though. I don't correct me on the source. But I saw in the top 5 Super Bowl contenders, favorites to win it, the LA Chargers.
Really?
LA Chargers, yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I could see that because the Chargers did a lot of great signings in the offseason. Their offense is pretty solid. Herbert's, the real deal. I mean, but so far with the Chargers, I mean, they're looking like they're, like it's a struggle every game. This last game felt like it could have been a win. It could have been a win for them, but they let Kansas City come back in, and they only lost by 3. And I mean, it's not too bad, but it just felt like I know a lot of people have been buzzing about like, oh, because of all the signings that they made, that it just felt like, okay, this is a team that in the AFC should be toe to toe with the Bills if they had to play the Bills, right? Because everybody's saying the AFC is gonna come down to the Bills, and I think in the NFC, I think the Buccaneers are kind of up there, which I don't get why. But I guess
TB12, bro.
TB12. I guess he still has it. I saw that he started a fight last game.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, right now I don't know with the Chargers. Herbert's day to day with that rib injury he
That's
sustained
right.
in that Chiefs game. So obviously it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, like we really need him. Like without him, this doesn't work. I think the backup we had was, I forgot who it was, but it was like, yeah, no, this needs to be Herbert. So we'll see how they do. The first game of the season was pretty exciting to watch. Raiders versus Chargers. To your point, yeah, like the tickets are hella expensive, especially when the Raiders are in town. Like I was looking at it, and it was like 150 for the cheapest seats, and that's like all the way at the top. And it's like, I mean, I don't want to have that kind of experience. I want to be somewhere like in the middle, you know. But
Right.
like for 150 plus, it just felt like, man, that's a lot. But obviously, the Raiders fans always take over when they're here for the Chargers, and yeah, I'm really glad though that we did win and that we moved on from that game, because I always never look forward to that game where the Raiders are basically the home crowd to the Chargers, and it's different because we're in the division, so it's like you have to have, like, this has to happen every year. You know, it's like you just have to kind of swallow and get through it. But I'm really glad that like the Chargers took care of business that day, because I would not want to see the Raiders glow, especially their fans here in LA, being all like boastful about it. So I like that they got quiet for that.
See, the NFL Goodell, man, he put so many good matchups in that first week, second week, just coming out the gate with it, right? Like a hit album, track 1, track 2, like those. He just puts the bangers right in the front of the album, man. I can't stand him. But yeah, man. So the Chargers are an exciting team to watch, man. I caught that Raiders Chargers game. That was exciting. I was rooting for that Thursday night game against the Chiefs, man, because I'm just tired of Mahomes.
Oh yeah.
And I really can't stand that Chiefs fan base.
Yeah.
So, but yes, but I can't stand Mahomes because he's so good.
Yeah.
Like he's just, so you kind of root against him because I kind of want to see him like show that he's human, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just too much like a superhero.
Yeah.
So I can't help but like be like the root for the anti-hero, or root for like a villain. I guess that would be the Chargers in this case, because I'm just tired of seeing Superman always win, right?
Yeah.
Like for once I want some kryptonite toward him.
Very true.
So
I saw that Jeff Bezos was there in the beginning, because this game was on Amazon Prime, which I don't know.
Yes.
Did you? What are your thoughts on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime? Did you shop? Bought something?
I did not shop and buy anything, but I thought the quality looked really good. I thought it was a really high production value. I think it's really cool to just open up the Fire Stick and just see it there right away.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But I didn't notice a lot of Prime ads. Right, it was just like an ad for Prime. The entire thing was an ad for Prime.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, if I'm already here watching it, don't I already have Prime? Like, do I really need to be suckered in to stay here?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get my yearly money every year. I'm gonna need my 2-day shipping. Come on. Like,
exactly. I just tripped out that they had the stats of the game as they were happening. Like they tell you which quarterback and how much throws, how many first downs. So they give you the stats, and then like there's another tab. The funny part was there's a shop tab at the end for you to buy like Chargers or Chiefs gear, whichever one you're wanting.
Oh wait, so you were watching like on your phone and stuff, right?
Yeah, I had it on my phone.
Okay,
and
nice.
Then,
there you go.
And then there was like a Dude Perfect feed as well for those that were wanting to watch it with the Dude Perfect guys. They could watch it with the Dude Perfect guys, but I'll take Al Michaels. He's good. So
yeah,
I think Al Michaels' voice helps too. That he like he made it feel like a normal production. So
yeah, it was just very classic and authentic. Not so much trying to hit you over the head with the big Amazon ad. From the gridiron to the football pitch. So our LA Galaxy are hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
They, right now, as we're speaking, this is midweek before their game in hand against San Jose. Right now, they are above the playoff line, which means they'll be the number 7 seed. They would be in the playoffs. I guess all they have to do is win out, right?
Yeah.
Win and you're in. You control your own destiny.
Where have we seen this before?
Right.
Deja vu.
Right? This is what the Galaxy do every freaking year. They just have to just tap it in. Tap it in.
Yeah.
So, of course, they won't. So, I'll give you a spoiler for the next episode of the West Box Score here. The Galaxy are eliminated from the playoffs. The LA Galaxy are eliminated from the playoffs. Not yet, but they will be. I mean, they do this. It's the hope that kills us, right, Donald?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, like you said, there's 3 matches left. Just looking at the schedule now, San Jose, Cali Classico. Will they pull it off? They should pull it off. Will they? I don't know. It's the Cali Classico. It's,
anything could happen.
Anything can happen. Real Salt Lake, Houston Dynamo. yeah, anything can happen with any of these teams. I can't even say, oh yeah, they're definitely got on this one. Yeah, dude, I think in my opinion,
do you know why you feel that way? Do you know why?
Why?
Because this team is inconsistent.
It is.
This team shows up and all of a sudden they have a 4-1 win at home against Colorado. Then they get shut out on the road against Vancouver.
Yeah.
Then they're lucky enough to squeak out a draw against Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, okay, and then they draw in Sporting Kansas City where they should win.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, get to your point. Why do you think? What do you think is going to happen these next 3 games?
I don't know, man. San Jose, I could see them losing that just because there'll be some defensive breakdown, or like Cabral will just not put the ball in the back of the net, as he should be doing. I mean,
well, that's Cabral, classic Cabral.
I don't know, man. I feel like they got to move on from him.
I feel like he's got 2 goals this whole year, man.
Yeah, and like what, like 20 chances?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
because that's great, except for the fact he's our designated player.
Yeah,
like
that's
come
true.
On, you got to get more production out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping they move on, because they got to bite the bullet on some stuff, and I know there's contracts and stuff, but yeah, they got to do that because I don't even know what it's going to look like when they get into the playoffs. Like,
exactly,
you know what I mean?
So that's why, like, listen, man, I guess it's not good fandom of me to hope that my team doesn't make the playoffs. I get it, but that's the only way we're going to see some change from the front office down, as we talked about the Dodgers. Like, that's why they're successful. They have a good front office. They have good scouting. That puts good management.
Yeah.
Front office down to scouting, down to management, down to players. That's the problem with the LA Galaxy, right? What past 7 years 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've had the same president, Chris
Klein. Yeah.
And they've changed managers, they changed general managers, they've changed players, obviously. Still nothing to show for it.
No.
So what's got to change?
Exactly. I think
the president.
Yeah, exactly. Front office. I think AEG just has to start really looking into that if they care. Because sometimes I don't even know if they care, to be honest. I mean, the Kings are a whole different story, but it's like, you know,
hey, the Kings are rebuilding this year.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know, man. I feel like it feels like very roll of the dice every season, and I don't know, man. You're emotionally invested. I know we go to the matches and all that, because they're fun to go to, and it just kind of like sucks to see that when they don't produce, and yeah.
I would be fine if they didn't produce consistently.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they have these glimmers of like, oh wow, this team can win, like can show.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing with the ball, as opposed to when they have possession on the opponent's side of the field and don't know what to do with the ball.
Yeah.
And that is where I get super frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, it's just pass after pass after pass, and without like purpose.
Yeah.
Like without creativity.
Yeah.
And I just like, that's super frustrating to see, and I just want some more creativity out of the ball with possession, and just a personality. Yeah. The team doesn't have a personality.
No.
So
outside of
that comes from ownership, from managing style. I mean, you name it. It's all the above.
Yeah, that's very, very true, man. Yeah.
So a little bit of also good.
I don't know what else we could say.
It's just,
I think a lot of this stuff we'll probably have to save it for the postseason. Like once they get eliminated or something.
Yeah, once we know officially, we can do a real postmortem on it.
Yeah.
But LA's other team, Angel City FC, are also in the running for a playoff berth. They also control their own destiny, winning yesterday at home, another home game this Sunday, another road game against Chicago, who they're fighting against for that last playoff spot. Inaugural season, playoffs in the inaugural season. Is it going to happen, Donald?
Man, I would love to see it happen. I honestly think that I think the city deserves to see their team, their inaugural, NWSL team, be able to, have a playoff match, sell some playoff tickets, get that in playoff experience, that playoff environment going,
Overcoming those massive injuries to make the playoffs and have a great first season.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you. We're rooting for you, Angel City.
Yes.
That's it for us this week. D-Bot, we're out.
Later.